As you're aware, we've completed level 1. So with that, you'll notice the book is kind of divided in half. Level 2 is pretty much in the middle of the textbook. The page numbering starts again, and we'll start in with new chapter numbers as well. So in level 2, we'll have another 8 chapters that we will complete. And you can see in Unit 1 we'll be looking at advanced formatting, formulas, and data management. And the breakdown of each of the chapters, all of these chapters, you'll probably be seeing familiar formulas and functions within those chapters. However, we're going to look at those formulas, functions, features in a little bit more detail and probably in more depth. So as we begin Chapter 1 on page 3, and again, this is level 2, so we're in the middle of the book. We're going to take a look at the objectives for Chapter 1. You'll notice there on page 3, we're going to apply conditional formatting by entering parameters for a rule. And as you know, we've already learned how to apply some conditional formatting, so we'll just look at this in a little bit more detail and in more depth. We're going to also apply conditional formatting using a predefined rule. We'll create and apply a new rule for conditional formatting. We'll also learn to edit, delete, and clear conditional formatting rules. We'll apply conditional formatting using an icon set, data bars, and color scale. It gives you more of a pictorial view of the formats that you're applying your conditional formatting to. We'll also apply conditional formatting using a formula. Okay, so that's about the first half of the chapter. And then the remaining part of the chapter, we're going to look at applying a special format for a number. We'll create a custom number format. We'll also apply wrap text and shrink to fit text control options. We'll filter a worksheet using a custom auto filter. And finally, we'll filter and sort a worksheet using conditional formatting or cell attributes. On pages 4, 5, and 6, you'll also see the model answers that we'll be working towards in each of the projects. So at the bottom of page 6, you're going to see a description or a paragraph of conditional formatting and what it actually does. And so be sure to read the bottom of that page. And then beginning on page 7 in Project 1A, we're going to open up a file called Vintage Pay October 27th. And I've already renamed it as we're supposed to here. Notice there, Excel Level 2, Chapter 1, Project 1. In this first project, we are going to look at some conditional formatting for highlighting the overtime hours. If you'll notice, this is a payroll listing all the employees Monday through Saturday, their total hours. Notice they've got formulas in here. Overtime hours, there's a formula function actually that's entered into those cells to calculate the overtime. Column L is your pay rate, and then gross pay is calculated again in each one of the cells using an if function. So as we use the conditional formatting, again, we're going to apply a conditional format that will highlight overtime hours that exceeded 5 for the week. So anything over 5, we want it to stand out, be highlighted, and formatted in a way that they suggest. So to do that, the first thing you do in any conditional format is to select the range of cells that you want to apply the conditional formatting to. So I'm going to select K6 through K23, and then once it's highlighted, again on the Home tab, in the Styles group, you'll see the conditional formatting button, and in there we're going to be looking at a lot of these at the top in addition to new rules, but for the first couple here we're going to look at highlight cells rules, and I'm just pointing to that, and then we're going to go to the greater than, because again we're looking for all those overtime hours that exceeded 5. So I'm going to click on greater than. I'm going to go ahead and type in a 5 in the text box, and then we want to format that to red text. Now if the format wasn't listed here in which you wanted, you could go into custom format, and that would take you into the format cells dialog box where you could choose a format that's even more customized. But for now they want us to just choose red text, and then I'll click OK. And now you can see anything over 5, okay, anything over 5 has been formatted to red text. Alright, in addition to the highlight cells rules option, and there's a lot of other ones in there that you can choose, okay, there's also the top and bottom rules, and this allows you to highlight cells that are based on top 10, or you can put any number in there, or top 10 value or percent, or above average, below average. So you can kind of see those options within the top bottom rules sub menu. In our example, we are going to look at the gross pay, and we're looking for all the employees who earned above average wages for the week. Now I want to show you something here just real quickly. If I select all of gross pay, M6 through M23, notice on the status bar it tells you that the average of all those selected cells is $281.27. And what our conditional format's going to do is it's going to highlight all of those salaries that are above 281. Now we don't necessarily know that. I mean, they in Project 1B they just say we want to look for all the above average wages. But I just wanted to draw your attention to the status bar so that you can you'll watch when we get these formatted, they'll all be above 281.27. Okay? So as we go further, again, we're looking for all the employees who've earned above average wages. So back to the styles group, conditional formatting, top bottom rules, above average. And once we selected that, they're going to leave it at the light red fill with dark red text. We're not going to make any change to that, although you have the same options. You can also go to custom format. And I'll click OK. And notice everyone that's highlighted here is above that I already forgot what it was, 281 or something. 281.27. So all the highlighted numbers are above 281.27. Okay. Alright, Project 2. We're going to still continue with conditional formatting. And we're actually going to use the new formatting rule dialog box for these next exercises in conditional formatting. We do need to go to a different workbook. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. We'll save our changes there. The workbook that we're looking for is All Claims Insurance Brokers. I guess that's what their abbreviation is. And then I've saved it already as Excel Level 2 Chapter 1 Project 2. Now in this particular exercise, this company is considering changing the discount plan for those customers with no claims. Notice here, this is the claim. So we're looking at a discount plan for those customers with no claims or with only one claim. And so what the owner of this company would like for us to do is to see the two claim criteria formatted in different colors. So we're going to highlight for the first criteria all the 0 claims, and then we'll also apply conditional format for all those that just have one claim. Okay, so again, to apply conditional formatting, our first step is to select the range of cells that we want to include. In this case it's H4 through H20. Then we'll go to the styles group, conditional formatting, and then this time we're going to use new rule. So I'm going to click on new rule. That'll take us into the new formatting rule dialog box. And we only want to format the cells that contain, okay, all those that contain 0 and 1. Okay, so format only cells that contain. Notice the edit the rule description pops up at the bottom. Any cell that has a 0 in it, so cell value is equal to 0, we want to format that. Let's see what they've got here. Dark red and bold. So I'm in the font tab, bold, and then dark red. Okay. Click OK after selecting your formats. Then that'll show you what your format's going to be. And all these are going to be applied to the zeros. And you can see that there. And then we also want to apply another conditional format. So I'm going to again select the cells, styles group, conditional formatting, again new rule, format only cells that contain. The cell value this time needs to be equal to 1, and we're going to format this one to purple. So again, we'll bold it and then we'll choose purple. And we'll go ahead and click OK and OK. So now the ones are set up with purple in them. In Project 2B, we're going to take a look at how we can edit a conditional format or a rule that's already been applied. You can not only edit them, you can also delete them, and they talk about that a little bit at the bottom of page 11 or bottom of page 10 and top of page 11. So we're going to put in a conditional format initially for the number of autos, and then once we put that in there, then we'll go back and edit that rule. So for this one in Project 2B, our goal here is to find all of the policies that hold more than two cars. Okay, so we're looking for number of autos that are greater than 2. So again, we want to select the range of cells that we want to apply our conditional format to. Back up to the Styles group, conditional formatting, new rule. Again, format only cells that contain. Now this time we want to choose greater than. Remember they said more than 2 cars, so greater than 2. And then we'll go in there and format that to yellow. And keep in mind any of these formats are usable and are applicable. They've just chosen to use font color for these examples. Alright, click OK and OK. So now all of them that are greater than 2 should be highlighted in yellow. And actually they use background color. I'm so sorry. Let's go in there and we can edit this. This will be a good example of editing. So again, I'm going to select those, go back into Styles, Conditional Formatting. This time, we're going to Manage Rules. So I'm going to Manage Rules. We want to manage, edit, really, the one that we've already put in there. So we're going to go to Edit Rule, Format. The color we're going to leave black, okay, or automatic. The fill color, though, needs to be yellow. Okay, that's all you really have to do to edit. And honestly, a little bit later on, they want us to change from greater than to greater than or equal to, so that also includes 2 with it. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Greater than or equal to 2. And again, we've got the red background. Okay. So now anything 2 or greater should have a background color of yellow. Alright, and then one other thing I wanted to show you with this, we're not going to actually carry through the entire process, but they do want us to learn how to delete a rule if you wanted to do that. Again, if you click in the area that has your formatted conditional formatting applied to it, and then go back into your Styles group, Conditional Formatting, again, Manage Rules, and you'll see if you had more than one rule, it would be listed here, and then you could delete your rule, and that would take it back to all the defaults that you had previously. So you can not only edit, but you can delete rules. I'll go ahead and close out of that. And in Project 2C, they want to show us how we can apply icon sets through conditional formatting, and these are just more pictorial type ways of drawing attention to certain areas of your worksheet. And in our particular example, we're going to focus back in on the number of autos. And if you read down at the bottom, page 12, top of page 13, they tell you that the icon sets can be 3 to 5 categories, and there's a variety of different symbols that you can choose. And so the first one, again, as I mentioned, we're going to look at the number of autos. They want us to choose an icon set whereby each one of these autos, like if it's the number is 1, then they want it represented by a certain icon. And we're going to use the icon sets that are red to black. So if you'll notice, the number of autos we have here, 1, 2, looks like 4. There's not any that are more than 4. So again, let's select the area that we want to apply the conditional format to. And then again, back up in this Styles group, Conditional Formatting, notice the icon sets. And hope you can see these. I think you can. They just want us to use circles, but there's 4 categories. So that's one reason why we're using that. You could also use that option within the shapes area. Any of these that have 4 could work, but we're not looking for anything showing increase or decrease. We just want to draw attention to each one of the numbers. So we're going to choose this one. And now if you'll notice, all the number 1s have black circles, number 2s have gray, 3s have pink, 4s have red. So again, a real quick way that you can immediately draw out the information that's in that range of cells. On page 14, you're also going to see some description, a couple of paragraphs that talk about data bars and color scales. And this is just another way to be able to conditionally format cells that provide visual guides. And it's a great tool for quick ways of showing variations in numbers. And so we're going to look at that. You can see some examples at the bottom of page 14. But using this same workbook in Project 2D, they want us to, first of all, clear all of the formats, any conditional formats that have been applied to the claims column. So I'm going to do that first, and then from there we're going to put in a conditional formatting that's based on the rating, but we actually want the conditional format to show up on the premium. And I'll come back to that in just a second, but let's first of all clear out the conditional formats that have been applied to the claims column. So first of all, I'm going to select the range of cells in the claims column, and then we're going to go back to Styles Group, Conditional Formatting, and there's an option at the bottom, again I hope you can see this, pointing to Clear Rules, and we want to just clear the rules from selected cells. But look, also there's an option, Clear Rules from the entire sheet. So that would clear the rules that we have over here with the yellow background and also the icon sets. So it's a real quick way of just kind of cleaning up your worksheet from all conditional formats. Right now though, we just want to clear rules from the cells that we have selected. So we'll do that. Now for selecting the premiums based on our rating, again we're looking for all of the ratings that are greater than 3. If they're greater than 3, then we want to apply actually a red font, bold red font to the premiums. So as we do in other steps, we want to select the range of cells that we're going to apply the conditional formatting to. We'll go to Styles, Conditional Formatting, New Rule. Now this time in our list we want to use a formula to determine which cells to format. So this is where the if function comes in. So we start out with an equal sign. If this range of cells, if our ratings, any of those numbers are greater than 3, then we're going to apply the format. If not, it'll be false. Now one thing I want you to notice here, when you click and drag to select, it does put $signs in front of those, which we need to remove those out. So let me get that out of there. So G4, and then I'm just deleting out the $signs. And if you want to type this in manually, you can. I just didn't know where those range of cells were initially, so I want to go out to the worksheet and select them. Okay, and then we're going to format it to a red font that's bolded. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Click OK there. And now you can see in the premium area, if their ratings are greater than 3, then it'll highlight the premium in red. So any of these that are greater than 3, it'll highlight them in red.